All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you all are having a good day so far. I got kind of a double header here today. I've got due to a lot of requests to do more of these. We're gonna check out some more Clayton Crowley videos under the Making the Case setup, which is this one is going to be making the case for LeBron James being the GOAT. And I know, calm down. Tonight we're going to follow it up with making the case for Michael Jordan being the GOAT. So I figure it would be a cool double header. So we'll start out with LeBron now, and then we'll do Jordan later. And there are a bunch of other awesome players that I do wanna check those videos out too. So let me know if you enjoyed this type of format, as far as the making the case videos. And if you do, I'll continue to cover these. So as always, I'm going to link the original video down below in the description down below. So if you want to check out this video without my commentary, feel free. Everybody else, please leave a like on this video and comment down below afterwards to let me know if you like these types of videos, or if you've already seen these videos. Let me know if you like them and if you want me to continue covering them. All right, everybody. I appreciate you all. Let's do it.
Basketball is special. The size of the court and the lack of pads or helmets give fans the most intimate experience of a team sport that exists. And because of the different styles that basketball allows for, players develop their own distinct identities and signature styles through their creativity.
They used to.
Flair. And athleticism. And although no player succeeds alone, the scoring volume and two-way nature of the sport give individual stars a nearly unprecedented amount of control over the flow and outcome of a game. For this reason, players are constantly compared to their peers and to the legends of the past in order to answer the most hotly contested question in the sport. Who's the greatest to ever do it?
I agree, and that's why basketball is unique to I would differentiate it especially to football. It's more like hockey, because in order to be the GOAT in basketball, you have to be the best two-way player. You have to be the best on defense, best on offense, because there's no defensive team out there. You have to do both jobs, you know. When it comes to football, you know, it's harder to say who's the greatest ever, because you have the greatest on offense and then you have the greatest on defense. And it's always hard to decipher because the roles are so different. But in basketball, you have to do it all.
For many, the question is redundant. They believe in only one right answer, their answer. Others might have their own personal stance, but acknowledge one or two alternatives. But I believe that there's much more nuance to the question of greatness and more answers to it than you might think. By my count, there are 8 players in NBA history that have a substantial claim as the GOAT. It's a subjective thing though. I can't give you a definitive answer. All I can do is make the argument. So today, I'll be making the case for LeBron James as the greatest basketball player of all time.
All right, just a heads up, this is from 3 years ago. So this should be lined up basically to current as far as his achievements go. So he should have 4 rings at this point and 6 finals losses. 4 wins, 6 losses as far as the series go. And ever since then, nothing has really happened with LeBron. He's missed the playoffs, got knocked out in the first round. You know, you all know the story. Nothing of note. Nothing that would help his case. Clayton Crowley.
To begin making the case for LeBron James.
No.
Michael Jordan is the
LeBron
GOAT.
James
LeBron James isn't built like that. There's no way. There's no way that he is the GOAT.
Oh crap! This is like mainstream media. This is like first take.
Get out of here.
What are you
Really,
talking about?
LeBron?
Delete
You're
this
making a video about
You're out of
LeBron
your
being
mind.
the
Get
GOAT?
out of here.
No. And just like that, we've started the LeBron GOAT case off right.
Yeah.
Somebody like me makes a video like this, to which a certain segment of the population reacts by getting so mad that they start to pop blood vessels. And that's a really interesting reaction to me. I've made videos about why players like Larry Bird and Tim Duncan are the GOATs. And sure, I get some, this video is garbage because MJ is the GOAT comments, but it's mostly been people having a lovely chat about the merits and nuances of those players' careers.
Yeah, it's appreciating the greats. There's nothing wrong with that. Actually, I encourage that.
I don't expect that to be the case today.
No.
But why? Why is it that LeBron, more than any other player, gets Jordan truthers so defensive? If you are
all right, let's put it to the test. Let's look at some comments here. Blah blah blah. Anything? Plot twist: no one is hating LeBron in the comment section. No way. I love how you ran. Okay, coolest thing about LeBron is how you probably add another 20 minutes to this video by the time he's retired. What a legend, man. Okay, a lot of pro stuff. The idea of 5 LeBron. Okay. In the case. And no, there's no like LeBron bashing in here. This video needs an update. Holy moly. All my hair is standing up after those ending. Okay. Okay. No, I've gone down far enough and I haven't seen one like hate message. So I'm shocked. I'm shocked. All right, let's keep going.
Of those volatile Jordan defenders and you're racing to the comments right now, I know that there's nothing I can do to stop you. But for the rest of you, please, just humor me. Even if you think Jordan's the GOAT, hear what I have to say. We all still love basketball. We can all still be friends.
The funny thing is like when somebody says LeBron James is the GOAT, I kind of just laugh at it. You know, it's funny to me. But obviously, you guys know by now, Jordan is my GOAT. But when somebody says Kareem is the GOAT, or Bill Russell, or Magic, or Bird, or Kobe, I just kind of, it doesn't do anything to me. I'm like, I respect that. Straight up. Like, that's usually my response. Like, I can respect that, Like, because I have nothing bad to say about those players. So, like, I'm not going to sit here and, like, try to bash, like, Magic Johnson in order to make Jordan seem better. I don't like that whole thing. So, I only do that if I'm doing that against somebody like LeBron, who, I mean, I think it's ridiculous, that he's compared to any of the GOATs. But, yeah, anybody else, I swear, like, I'm just like, I respect that. I know some people who say, like, Steph Curry is the GOAT, and I'm like, I don't agree, but I can respect it. He's the one who made you want to play basketball. I gotcha. No worries.
When LeBron James was a freshman at St. Vincent St. Mary's High School in Akron, Ohio, he posted per-game averages of 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. The Irish went undefeated, 27-0, won the state championship, and James was named the state tournament MVP. And
by the way, 18 points and 3 assists doesn't sound like a pass-first guy.
Just like that, the final year of anonymity for LeBron James was over. In the summer, between his freshman and sophomore years, James's play on the AAU circuit caught the eyes of every scout he encountered. Word began to spread far and wide about the man-child from Akron, Ohio.
Yeah.
In his sophomore season, he saw an increase in every box score figure. His team started playing home games at the University of Akron's arena in order to seat the thousands of spectators. His team lost 1 game all year and won the state championship again. He became the first sophomore ever named to USA Today's All-USA First Team. He had officially entered the territory of phenom. Scouts were infatuated with James for a number of reasons. He had every measurable you could want out of a 16-year-old. Tall, strong, good wingspan, off-the-charts athleticism. But he also had superb instincts, a natural enthusiasm for the game, an unselfish play style, preternatural passing abilities, and strong leadership qualities. Which is why, in his junior year, Sports Illustrated put LeBron on its cover.
Yep.
Now, this cover didn't single-handedly trigger the outrageous expectations of LeBron James, but it certainly helped.
Yeah, this is when it started, though. I didn't know about LeBron until this, because I'm not, like, following high school basketball players. I'm not going to lie. I don't do that. But, yeah, this is when I was just like, this dude's in high school? And he's this popular already? Like, he's this famous already? It was crazy. We knew of, like, Kevin Garnett. We knew of Kobe Bryant coming out of high school, but nobody had this kind of buzz.
Cover acknowledged James's unprecedented talent at such an early stage, while alluding to the expectations, hopes, and wonders that such an unbelievable talent would have to bear.
Yep, there it is.
Beginning his junior year, James and the Irish would play their home games almost exclusively at the University of Akron's arena. ESPN2 began broadcasting their matchups to the country, and Time Warner Cable started selling his games on pay-per-view for $7.95 a pop to the Akron populace. The hype was substantial.
That I didn't know. I know they were on ESPN2. I didn't know they were selling that pay-per-view. Jeez.
Initiated by more incredible play from James, who improved from year to year. As a junior, he was named to a second All-USA first team and became the first junior to ever be named the Gatorade National Player of the Year. As a senior, he won a second National Player of the Year award and was named to an unheard of third All-USA first team. James's junior year remains the turning point of his celebrity. It was then that he went from highly touted young prospect to inheritor of the sport of basketball.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We as sports fans fetishize potential. The allure of the future is endless. If a player has potential, they can be anything. It hasn't happened yet, so it's still technically possible, no matter how outrageous the expectation may be. But then if they don't succeed, we label them as failures, busts. Couldn't do it, didn't pan out. Never.
You know, that high expectation, though, I never quite understood because, you know, right now, and I've gone through this many times with players, Penny, Tracy McGrady, Grant Hill, Shaq. Now it's like it's Wemby, you know, I'm watching him close, but I'm not going to sit here and say like he's inheriting the league. Like the you know, basketball is now his. He's got a lot to prove before he gets there. But a lot of people, yeah, they do that. Like at first sight, it's like love at first sight or something. And all of a sudden with LeBron, that's how it went. When he got drafted into the league, it was like all of a sudden he is the next Jordan. And I'm like, what about Kobe Bryant, y'all? Like we have somebody dominating right now. Like why are we just taking it away from him and giving it to this young buck who hasn't proven anything? That mentality is always weird to me. Let him prove it first. You know, I ragged on Kobe for a couple years until he proved me wrong. I was all about Trace McGrady at that time. You know, telling all my friends like T-Mac's better, and Kobe. And then Kobe proved me wrong. So after that, I was like, okay, yeah, Kobe is, you know, the closest thing to Jordan I've ever seen. The guy's kind of a badass. He's really earned it. And LeBron, I've still been waiting for that, and it's never quite happened. You know, he never quite proved me wrong. And I was quite a bit of a fan of his the first couple of years.
Mind the fact that we were the ones who set the expectations to begin with. Promise is a double-edged sword, and this was promise like no other.
And I can say the expectation was us. We were guilty of it at first as a community, a basketball community, because we set those impossible expectations. And then he called himself the GOAT, and once he called himself the GOAT, now he set the bar to I'm the greatest ever. You know, I'm the greatest to ever play the game. Now that's the bar you have to be at. So he shot himself in the foot later on.
LeBron was the first real athletic prodigy of the internet era. It was the first time that the country could whip itself up into this kind of frenzy about the next big athlete in the uber commercialized post-Jordan NBA. These days, young prospects in every sport get enough smoke blown up their asses to host a barbecue with top 100 recruiting lists and the videos with titles calling any prospect who hits back-to-back threes the next Steph Curry.
Yeah.
It's too much to say that it started with LeBron, but he was undoubtedly the initial product of the hype machine we're familiar with today.
Yeah, we did it with Kobe too. If you and you've probably seen it if you watch my channel, I've covered a ton of videos of young Kobe versus Jordan, you know, when Jordan was still on the Bulls. And all the commentators, that was the whole buzz. The next Michael Jordan. He's the next in line. You know, Jordan passing the torch to Kobe. All the narrative was around that. Kobe didn't create that, but us as a community and the media created that with Kobe. So LeBron wasn't first, in other words. We did it with Grant Hill. We did it with Penny Hardaway as well. And we've done it with we did it with freaking Harold Miner, for crying out loud. Baby Jordan, you know? So this is not unique. It's just, Harold Miner didn't come out and say, I'm the GOAT. And neither did Kobe.
He was so good at such a young age, and so many people saw him and talked about him and heard about him that the stakes were clear. LeBron James could not be a 6-time NBA All-Star. He couldn't win 1 or 2 MVPs. He couldn't be the next Tracy McGrady or the next Vince Carter. He had to be the face of the league and go down in history as one of, if not the, greatest basketball players of all time. In the Sports Illustrated article, the one that called him the chosen one, a label that he embraced by having it tattooed on his back, writer Grant Wall recognized the absurdity of asking if a 17-year-old who still couldn't buy cigarettes was really the heir to the next generation of basketball.
Yeah, it was.
But after seeing LeBron and talking to him, Wall concedes that it was indeed the right question. Was it ever? In the 2004 NBA draft, LeBron James was the first overall selection by his hometown Cleveland Cavaliers. He was selected ahead of college standout Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, who had just led Marquette to the Final Four and was named an All-American, college basketball's Player of the Year TJ Ford, and Carmelo Anthony, who had just led Syracuse to an NCAA championship. LeBron, out of high school, went ahead of all of them, with the weight of a franchise, a city, and perhaps a league on his 18-year-old shoulders. As the most anticipated basketball player since Lou Alcindor, LeBron James could not falter. What if he'd failed? What if the $100 million shoe deals and the celebrity and the fame had been too much too soon? And honestly, how wasn't it? How did LeBron not mess it all up? I don't know, but he didn't. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the incredible things that he's done since with his platform as the country's most famous athlete. He's spurred and advocated social change, especially in the realm of civil rights, from Trayvon Martin's shooting to the Black Lives Matter movement. He has been an indispensable source of goodwill and good fortune for his community. He's been the most important focal point in the era of player empowerment in the NBA. He didn't just defy the odds by not becoming a complete nutcase. He has leveraged his position, set an incredible example, and has been one of the best role models that any child or parent could ever ask for. He's still playing, which means that all of these accolades are subject to change, and likely will. But the only assumptions I'll be making are that LeBron finished within at least the top 5 of MVP voting this year and made first team All-NBA, which means he has been named to 13 All-NBA first teams and 16 total All-NBA teams, both records demonstrating his unbelievably prolonged reign.
What happened on this play? Hold on.
NBA teams, both
Oh, they're about to just slam into each other, aren't they?
records demonstrating
Oh, crap.
his unbelievably prolonged reign over the sport. He's won 4 MVPs in 5 years, a feat only matched by Bill Russell, and finished in the top 5 of MVP voting in all but 3 of his 17 seasons. He's been selected to 16 All-Star games, 6 All-Defensive teams, and stands at or near the top of multiple all-time statistical leaderboards that demonstrate his all-around proficiency, from playoff points scored to career assists. He has achieved such a universal and unique statistical position for a number of reasons. Namely among them, LeBron James is the best basketball player of all time. When James Naismith nailed a peach basket to a wall in a gym in Massachusetts, there was no way he could have ever imagined the game as it is today. And there is no way, not in his wildest dreams, that he could have ever imagined an athlete like LeBron. The guy is 6'8", 260, built like Karl Malone, passes like Larry Bird, jumps like Michael, and surveys the court like Magic Johnson. He's not the strongest or the fastest, but he's faster than the strongest and stronger than the fastest. He has a cocktail of cerebral perception and hand-eye coordination that has made him one of the premier passers in league history. He has a 7-foot wingspan, a lightning-quick first step, supernatural anticipation, and an IQ on both ends of the court that comes from the brain of basketball's Da Vinci.
I'm telling you right now, if he would have worked on his ball handles, got that mid-range jumper going, his post moves going, and, you know, he had more of that killer mentality, he would be the GOAT. I mean, he would be. But he just didn't. He didn't work on those things.
Would be enough if LeBron had just built a name and career for himself thanks to his prodigious natural talents. But he worked diligently, year in and year out, to improve himself as a basketball player. He received criticism for not using his Herculean frame to lock down opponents. And so, he became a lethal defender and was twice the runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year. Opponents would exploit James's lack of post game by assigning him smaller, quicker defenders.
They still do that.
He spent the summer with Hakeem Olajuwon and became a back-down bully. To better space the floor and accommodate the modern style of basketball, he needed to improve his streaky jump shot. He became a master of efficiency, and at his best was a 40% three-point shooter. There is no aspect of basketball that LeBron James is not superb at.
See, I disagree with that, though. His efficiency is not there. It's only because of the fact that the majority of his shots are breakaway layups and breakaway dunks. But if you take those away and you look at what he's doing anywhere from the mid-range out, his efficiency is terrible.
It's a silly hypothetical, but I think it serves my point to say that a team of 5 LeBrons would beat a team of 5 of anybody else. He always had the whole package, but he never stopped adding to it. And he's been adding to it for an insanely long time. He's been probably the best basketball player in the world since 2008 or 2009. And if your life came down to one game, he's still one of the first calls you'd make at age 35 in year 17. He can do anything, does everything, and he's never had a truly significant injury. It wasn't until 2019 that he missed a substantial amount of time because of a groin injury. And aside from some issues with cramps and some occasional back trouble, LeBron has never been a liability in that department. He has the 4th highest scoring average in NBA history, and with the way basketball is played today, he can defend point guards and centers alike. Add all of that to a tireless work ethic, an unselfish play style, and a penchant for big moments, and you get the queen of the chessboard. When it comes to playing basketball, he is the best at it. Hold on, I think I hear something. It's the sound of Skip Bayless's acolytes losing their shit in my comment section. Best player ever. Big moments? No way. LeBron's terrible in the clutch.
At least Clayton is very self-aware with this. This is actually really entertaining because his job here is to make the case, you know? So, of course, there's tons of things that I'm letting slide by that I'm hearing that are just like, ugh. They're kind of like making my blood boil a little bit. But I understand what he's doing, and it's actually really interesting what he's doing. He's making the case blindly, you know, with no allegiance to anybody, just like this is in a court of law or something. So this is pretty cool.
He hates taking the last shot. He doesn't have the killer instinct. He doesn't have what it takes to come through in crunch time.
Facts.
I don't know where this got started or how it's been able to persist, but that sentiment is just factually untrue. There is an overwhelming amount of evidence to support LeBron's clutch ability and killer instinct.
Oh, good
There's
luck.
statistics that show that James is clutch.
No, yeah, the stats. No. You got to watch the games.
Analytics. Stuff made by people who know how to do math and use calculators and stuff. And if you don't believe them because they're nerds and because basketball isn't just about numbers, then just look at the dude's results. He's hit clutch shots in the regular season.
For the jumper for the win. Bang! Love, LeBron, and got it! Bang!
Has he ever done it in the finals?
Make somebody else beat you. Three on the way. He got it! LeBron for the tie. He got it!
And he's hit clutch shots in the playoffs.
Three for the win. Yeah!
I'm going to look out and see if any of these are in the finals. But I don't remember him hitting a big shot in the finals.
James for the win. It's gone. Under 3 seconds to go. Throws up the floater. Oh,
and with 3 seconds left, Cleveland triggers in. James, 2 seconds, 1 second for the win.
Don't tell me
Okay, you got nothing from the finals, though, when it really matters. That's why he's 4 and 6 in the finals, Clayton.
or any of that shit. He spent a lot of time playing in the biggest games too, in an absolutely loaded league. In the playoffs, he has faced Gilbert Arenas, Chauncey Billups, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, Dwight Howard, Derrick Rose, Al Horford and Paul Millsap, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, Paul George, Victor
stretching
Oladipo,
it here.
Damian Lillard, and so on. And the players he's faced haven't just been eye-popping. He's lined up against some of the vaunted teams and franchises in NBA lore.
He's also been on some of the vaunted teams in NBA history.
He played the Spurs, the most successful post-Jordan franchise in basketball, 3 times in the finals. And then he faces the Warriors in 4 straight finals. Meanwhile, LeBron's teams always seem to be overachievers. In his first 7 seasons...
2011, anybody? 2014, anybody? They have not always overachieved.
In Cleveland, his best teammate by a mile was Mo Williams. Yeah, one-time All-Star, Mo Williams. The Cavs front office can't be faulted for not trying to get LeBron help, but they certainly deserve some criticism for failing to actually get him help. Anderson Varejao, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Larry Hughes, Drew Gooden, Eric Snow, Old Shaq, Ben Wallace's corpse. None of them were really bona fide quality contributors who, in the roles they were supposed to fill, could compete and win a championship against the Spurs or the Celtics.
Yeah, Jordan had it rough for 6 years, too. Drafted in 84. They didn't win until 91, the 91 playoffs. So, it takes time. It takes time to build. It's not just going to be handed to you because he was drafted number 1, which means Cleveland was the worst team in the league at that point. So it takes time to build a solid team around a star. But, LeBron left. He ditched him.
The Cavs' entire philosophy during his first stint in the land was, he's so damn good, we'll just bank on him putting up ungodly numbers and carrying us to a win every single night. Which he usually somehow did. And when he left, look at how the Cavs floundered. From a league-high 61 wins to 19, the second worst record in the league.
Yeah, but you're telling me when a team has the best record in the NBA, like they did here, why are we making excuses for Boston beating him? Like, why do we make excuses for that? You were the best team in the league. You were supposed to win this one. I don't know. When the Bulls went 72-10, people weren't expecting them to lose. The expectation was win the championship. It don't mean a thing without the ring. And same with why are we disappointed that the Warriors in their 73 win season didn't win? We're not excusing them. No, they should have won. They faltered. That's why they're not the greatest team in history. Like, not even close. But when it comes to LeBron, why is it that we go, oh, he overachieved by not even making it to the finals this year, or making it to the finals and losing, but in this specific season, didn't even make it to the finals. Oh, Boston's too good. Well, you were better all year, but you weren't better when it counted. Tell me why.
A league-high 61 wins to 19, the second worst record in the league. Nothing exemplified the plight of LeBron more than Game 5 of the 2007 Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh yeah, this was when I was starting to become a believer, because up until this point, LeBron had choked so many times, countless times. He shriveled in the fourth quarter in the playoffs, and I was tired of seeing it. However, the dude stepped up during this series, and I thought this is the new LeBron. I was excited because I was still a fan. But yeah, this is kind of a one-off. But he balled out
With
here.
the series tied at 2 games apiece, LeBron and the Cavs were trying to pull off an upset against the former champion Detroit Pistons nucleus on their home court. With around 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter and the Cavs down 7, LeBron got fouled on a drive, and so began one of the most impressive stretches of basketball ever played in any series by any player.
Yeah, this was impressive.
To say that James, at age 22, proceeded of the Cavs' final 30 points, including 25 in a row, he was transcendent. Finishing with 4s in the finals that year, they lost because a 22-year-old LeBron couldn't beat the Pop, Parker, Manu, Duncan Spurs by himself. Shame on him.
Yeah, that year I understood. That year I understood. But also, if we got that version of LeBron for the rest of his career, I would be the biggest LeBron fan there is. Because what I saw in that series was beyond impressive. That was GOAT status basketball. But it was just a one-off. And that's why it was so disappointing to see him just go back to his old ways after this season. Did I think he should have beat San Antonio that year? No, I don't. Not at all. I think it was impressive that they got past Detroit that year and the way they did it. But yeah, it's just disappointing on an individual level. I really thought, holy shit, this guy might be him, but he wasn't.
Is there any surprise that he wanted to go to a real team like Miami, where he didn't have to do everything? And make no mistake, it's not like he didn't still have his Atlas moments with the Heat. Game 6 of the 2012 Eastern Conference Finals. The Heat are down 3-2, coming off of the decision in the 2011 Finals. LeBron and the Heat were under as big of a magnifying glass as you can get. In Boston, the Celtics had the chance to send the LeBron, Wade, Bosh Heat out by the historical wayside as a catastrophic failure.
Oh, yeah. The expectation here was the Miami Heat should have destroyed them. And then they should have destroyed the Mavericks afterwards That was the expectation. It was so lopsided. You got 3 old veteran stars versus 3 stars that are in their freaking prime. Yeah, Miami was supposed to annihilate these guys.
And LeBron put on this face and picked the Celtics apart. He had 30 points in the first half. In classic LeBron fashion, he was everywhere doing everything. He sucked the oxygen out of the arena and never gave it back, coming through with an all-time performance in maybe the most important game of his career.
How would that be the most important game of his career, though? The finals is what matters.
Finals, games 6 and 7, leading the fourth quarter charge in game 6, hitting a crucial 3 with 20 seconds left to set up Ray Allen's legendary shot.
Back out to James, another 3.
20 seconds left.
It's good. James knocks it down.
37, 12, and 4, plus the series icing jumper in game 7.
Tim Duncan showing James pulls up, puts it in, 4-point lead. 35 for LeBron James.
That is his. But none of that matters to you because of 3 things.
4 and 6, buddy. 4 and 6.
Sources of so much of that doubt and criticism. The 2010 Eastern Conference semifinals, the decision, and the 2011 finals. All 3 events happened within the span of about 400 days. It started with the second round of the 2010 playoffs, Boston versus Cleveland. Despite having the best record in the league, the Cavs lost in 6 to the Pierce KG Ray Allen Celtics. LeBron's numbers look okay, but if you remember watching at the time or you go back now and watch, you can tell that LeBron's just not there. He's checked out. No aggression, no urgency, stretches of total detachment. He was a no-show.
Yeah, it's the anti-GOAT thing. Because if you go back and watch Jordan on those years in the 80s, where everyone knows they're not going to win a championship, there's no way in hell they're going to win a title. Jordan went out there killing to the last second until the game was over. He did not give up. In his mind, they were going to win. And the difference is with the anti-GOAT here is he had it already set in his head, we're going to lose. We're going to lose, and I'm going to leave Cleveland. And so that's where, Clayton's right about this. He was mentally checked out, and it was very easy to see. We could visibly see it. We all talked about it. Like, he's not there, man.
No urgency, stretches of total detachment. He was a no-show. And no one still knows definitively why, but salacious rumors persist that you can look up for yourself.
We know. Well, I mean, in my opinion, it was just because we knew he was leaving. He knew he was leaving. This was planned ahead. It's all been talked about between Melo, him, and D Wade. They've all talked about it. This was planned. It was premeditated. So he said, "Screw it. I'm gonna win next year," which he didn't, which is funny. But that was the expectation. Yeah, screw it. I'm gonna build a super team and I'm gonna win championships. Yeah, it's not gonna happen here. I know you guys are texting or commenting right now about Delonte. Maybe that had something to do with it too.
Whatever the reason, the loss amped the noise around LeBron up to new levels. He can't do it. He doesn't have it. The basketball world prepared itself for one of the most consequential free agent decisions ever.
No, let's do it. Let's do it as a community here. All right? Forget just my opinion. Let me know in the comments right now. Do you guys think he left in 2010, do you think he was mentally checked out during the playoffs because of Delonte? Or do you think it was because he already knew he was going to leave Cleveland? Let me know down below what you think. I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say. All right, let's keep going.
What they got was the decision, a 1-hour nationally televised special. LeBron was going to announce his decision on live TV. How could this go wrong?
The answer to the question everybody wants to know. LeBron, what's your decision?
In this fall, man, this is very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
And then he broke the hearts of millions in Ohio, just like that. It's crazy to think to do that so publicly. Like nobody did that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, To me, it's like you got to break up with your girl. Okay, break up with your girl in private. But to go on TV, make an hour special about it, yeah, I'm about to break her heart right now. Let's do it on public on TV, broadcast it across the world. That's the right way to do it, right? Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
The best basketball player in the world dumped his hometown team, the most tortured sports city in America, live on television to join a super team with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. He had quit on Cleveland in the playoffs and followed it up with the mother of all backstabs. The decision remains perhaps the single meanest thing an athlete has ever done to their franchise. It was
and not only the franchise that drafted him, that's bad enough. That's his hometown, man. That's his hometown. He did that to. Like that.
Shallow, insulting, and egotistical in a profound way. LeBron quickly went from one of the most popular and celebrated athletes in the country to its most hated. Cavs owner Dan Gilbert published an infamous letter tearing James apart.
Wow, it's been a long time since I've seen this. Sorry, but that's simply not how it works. I hope you guys don't mind. It's been a long time. This shocking act of disloyalty from our homegrown chosen one sends the exact opposite lesson of what we want our children to learn. Yes. Props to you on that one. This is what I'm saying about all of his behavior. This is not he is not a role model. Okay. What we want our children to learn and who we would want them to grow up to become. Yes. But the good news is that this heartless and callous action can only serve as an antidote for to the so-called curse in Cleveland, Ohio. I know. The self-declared former king former king will be taking the curse with him down south to South Beach, and until he does right by Cleveland and Ohio, James and the town where he plays will unfortunately own this dreaded spell and bad karma. Just watch. Sleep well, Cleveland. Tomorrow is a new and much brighter day. Yeah, you got Kyrie coming. I promise you that our energy, focus, capital, knowledge, and experience will be directed at one thing and one thing only, delivering you with the championship. Okay. Wow. Yeah. That hits even harder all these years later because he was so right. This is not the behavior, with the flopping and the complaining and the blame shifting and to getting your teammates fired and your coaches fired, all this stuff. This is not who we want our children to grow up to become. That's terrible behavior.
Fans burned his jersey in the streets. Conversations about how LeBron was wired and whether he could be the guy flooded the airwaves. But the funny thing was, I don't think anyone really faulted him for wanting out of Cleveland. It was clear that he didn't get the help that a superstar needs in order to capitalize on their talents. The criticism was first and foremost with the execution, doing it in a self-aggrandizing live TV special.
Absolutely. If he okay, same reason why nobody bashed Chris Bosh. You notice that? Because he didn't do what LeBron did. So it was because he made such a spectacle out of the announcement that this reaction followed. If he did it with tact and with respect and honor and just did it and signed a new deal, thanked everyone, thank you for drafting me. I had some good years here. I'll come back someday if I'm welcome. This is my hometown and all, but I feel like this is the best thing for me to do, is to go to Miami for a couple of years. That would be different. But he did it in the public eye. He made a whole thing out of it. He's got all those kids watching him and everything. This was a shit show.
Criticism quickly turned into nonsensical, inane cliches, whatever that means.
It means a lot.
Was the decision the dumbest thing LeBron could have done? Yes. Was it a knife in the back of the community that had supported him as he ascended from chosen one to superstar? Yes. Was most of this criticism of his mental makeup and desire to win baseless and spiteful? Also, yes.
It takes me back to they were doing the ring ceremony, I believe, for the Bulls in 1997. So they were about to go for their 6th championship. And Jordan's addressing the crowd with a microphone in his hand. And he said something along the lines of like when I first got drafted here, I told you guys, like I wanted to win a championship. I wanted to become like one of those dynasties like the Celtics or Lakers. He's like, well, we've done it and we're trying to do it again for the 6th time and we need your support. Like LeBron will never get that kind of a moment where it's like, I promised this to you guys, I delivered, and I'm trying to deliver more. Instead, he did the opposite. He ran.
But it probably didn't feel that way for a lot of NBA fans at the time. They hated him. He had quit on and betrayed his team. So when the Heat lost the 2011 finals, the hate boners raged in full force. And the Heat didn't just lose because the Mavs were better. They lost because LeBron choked.
Yes.
His scoring average plummeted to 17 points a game, down from 26 during the regular season.
I'm telling you, if they would have just taken LeBron out, if LeBron would have been injured in the finals and D Wade and Bosh would have taken over, I think they would have won this championship.
And of those 17 points a game, only 3 came during the fourth quarter, which is especially damning considering how tight the series was. James turned himself into public enemy number 1, promised a jewelry box's worth of rings, and when the world was watching, completely flopped.
Yeah, what he promised, eight championships, and then, he can't even score that many points in the fourth quarter when it counts in the finals. Not a good look, man. Not a good look. Not a good look.
There are no excuses.
Nope.
I can't
It's
tell
called
you
choking.
actually LeBron played really well or that his team let him down.
Yeah, no, it's a LeChoke. Like LeChoke was confirmed at this point. No more suspicions. Confirmed.
Sucked. He let them down and they lost. It's a fact. Should it define him forever? No. Because if we take a trip into yesteryear, we can look at a young point guard on the Los Angeles Lakers in the 1984 finals by the name of Earvin Magic Johnson. The series was the first championship meeting between Larry Bird and Magic since their record-breaking collegiate showdown. The two were now the faces of a surging NBA, revitalized thanks to their mastery and rivalry. What did Magic do? He choked. Pretty hard. In Game 2, he dribbled out the final 11 seconds in regulation of a tied game without putting up a shot.
That was bad. That was bad. He acknowledges this too. Like everyone acknowledges this. That was a bad look.
Lakers lost in overtime. In Game 4, Magic had his pass picked off with 4 seconds left in regulation of a tied game. Then in overtime, missed both free throws with 35 seconds left, with the score tied again. The Lakers lost. In Game 7, Magic turned the ball over twice in the final 90 seconds of a tightly contested game. The Lakers lost. Basketball writers were ruthless and cutting. The fact was, he didn't have what it took to come through in the big moments. They called him
Tragic Magic for this, but he rose up afterwards. He could have just crumbled and embraced that role of being Tragic Magic to Joker, but he wasn't. It was a one-off. At this point, LeBron had done this multiple times. He just did this in Cleveland his last year. He choked against Boston. And then the very next year, he chokes again. So if Magic Johnson would have continued to choke, he would have remained Tragic Magic. Just like, LeBron is still considered LeChoke.
Despite previous evidence to the contrary. And that's not how we remember Magic Johnson. We remember him as a player who came through in big games, had big performances, and who you wanted to have the ball when the game got close. Could it be because he led the Lakers to 3 championships after his '84 meltdown? So why is it that some people's opinions on LeBron James haven't changed in the last 9 years? How were 3 championships and 7 more consecutive finals not some sort of redemption? Because of this right here. The Magic Bullet, 3-6 in finals series. Not that he's won.
Okay, so this is before his 4th. So 4-6. It's still bad enough.
Championships, or that he's made 9 finals, or that he spent almost the entire decade of the 2010s playing June basketball. It's that he's made it 9 times and lost 6 times. Would it be better if he were 3-0 or 3-3? It is not a meaningful or insightful conversation in any capacity to boil down a player's entire career, his contributions, strengths, weaknesses, and subtleties to just his record in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, it means a lot though. Speaking of Tragic Magic, the reason he doesn't have that nickname, like we don't use it, I know I'm using it here as a reference, is because he went 5-4 in the finals. So he appeared in the finals 9 times. He won it 5 times and lost it 4 times. Is it the best record? No, we're spoiled with guys like Michael Jordan. 6-0 is not something that should ever happen. That's why he's the freaking GOAT. But he won it more than he lost it. So even if he was like 5-5, like I think the narrative would shift a little bit. But if he was 4-6, like LeBron is, because that could have happened if he would have lost one more, wait, I'm starting to lose my train of thought. If he would have appeared one more time and lost 2, then he would have been 4-6 like LeBron. Well, now we'd be saying, okay, Magic is great, but he's kind of a finals choker. He chokes under pressure. He's Tragic Magic. But he doesn't have that nickname anymore because he won more than he lost. You can say the same thing about like Steph Curry, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, obviously Michael Jordan. But LeBron James is the oddball here who has lost more times in the finals than he has won. It differentiates him from all the other people in GOAT contention. I stand by. I truly believe it. I always go back to my Buffalo Bills in the 90s. That second place didn't mean shit. Us going to the Super Bowl 4 times and losing 4 times, that's nothing to celebrate. Nothing at all. Like we wish those seasons didn't happen.
How is it that making it to the finals and losing is worse than not making it at all? If you take the time to actually look at how he ended up in those series and what he actually did in them, I have no idea how you could misconstrue his finals performances as a hindrance to his case. We talked about 07, 11, 12, and 13. Of those 4, the first was a loss to a team with an actual roster and head coach. The second was a loss that can be pinned entirely on James. And the last 2 were victories. In 2014, the Spurs played absolutely divine basketball. You cannot play the game better. LeBron and Chris Bosh were the only players on the roster who showed up. Nobody else, either because of age or mileage, could handle the physical toll of a 4th straight finals. LeBron led the Heat in every stat but blocks. He averaged 28, 7, and 4 while shooting 57, 51, 79 splits. As Mike Tyson said to Sports Illustrated, the Spurs won because they deserved to, not because of what LeBron didn't do. You're out of your mind if you think that the 2015 finals is a black mark on LeBron's legacy. The Cavs lost Kevin Love in the first round and Kyrie Irving in Game 1 of the finals against the Warriors. But LeBron was so supremely impressive that Cleveland actually had a prayer of winning the series, which garnered him finals MVP votes despite being on the losing team. His averages were unreal, and Andre Iguodala won the award specifically because he kept LeBron from doing more damage. In 2017, after a super weird regular season,
how many
the Cavs
steps did you just take, sir?
In 2017,
Dribble.
after a super weird regular season,
About
the
4.
Cavs flipped the switch and cruised to the finals against the new-look Warriors with Kevin Durant. LeBron became the first player to average a triple-double in the finals, but the Cavs lost in 5, keeping the Warriors
that just
from
hurts right there. Jeez, watch the ball. Watch where it hits.
average a triple-double in the finals, but the Cavs lost
Basketball. Gotta love it. Gotta love basketball. Ouch.
in 5, keeping the Warriors from sweeping their way through the entire playoffs. In 2018, without Kyrie, LeBron had a run that was eerily similar to his 2007 streak. Game winners, crazy numbers, game 7s, the whole thing. The culmination of the run happened in Game 1 of the finals, when LeBron scored an earth-shattering 51 points, giving the Cavs a chance to take a 1-0 lead in the series. And then this happened.
Rebound goes to the Cavs. J.R. Smith brings it back out. Throws it to Hill. Hill shot blocked.
Hey,
For
yeah,
the past-
cover overtime. What did LeBron do in overtime? You and I know. We all know.
13 years in a row. Every team that LeBron James has played on has been in contention to win the championship, regardless of the roster around him. We're not going to play the what-if game, but he's proven that he doesn't need the league's all-time leading scorer as a teammate or the Zen master as a coach.
Everything that LeBron has done up until this point confirms that for the last 21 years, he has been one of the best to play the game in his era, in his time. That is his legacy. He's been one of the best, but he loses more than he wins. So he's not the best of his era. Therefore, if you're not the best in your era, you cannot be the greatest of all time. This is simple deduction for me. And I'd like anybody else to dispute that and tell me in the comments, what era has LeBron been the best? When did he dominate? Did he do it in the 2000s? Did he do it from 2010 to 2020? Has he done it since 2020 to 2024? When? Because they lose more than they win. You know? To me, it was Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan sharing the 2000s. And after that, I tip my hat off to Steph from taking it in 2010 to 2020. 2020 on, we don't know yet. We don't know yet who's going to dominate the era. Maybe it'll be nobody. We've had eras like that before, too.
He also doesn't need time off between finals. It took him 8 straight finals before he finally wore down. Give him any coach, give him any teammates, and by the sheer brilliance of his play, your team is now a championship contender. And I don't have to make the argument that 3 rings is more than 5 or 6 or 11, because that's not how we evaluate these players. We don't just look at ring totals. Otherwise, Robert Horry would be on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, but when you're the leader, we do. Robert Horry was not the leader of the team. So I hate that argument is always so dumb to me. We're talking about the best player of the team, and what's your finals record? How many championships do you have? Same reason I'm going to go back to football. We don't praise. Who do we praise more? Jim Kelly as a quarterback or Troy Aikman? Which one? Or Tom Brady? Which one? It definitely is not Jim Kelly. But guess what? He's been to 4 Super Bowls. Okay. So he's been the second best. You know, he could say that. Yeah. I led my team to 4 Super Bowls. Oh yeah? Well, what happened in those Super Bowls? Oh, we lost all 4 of them. But we got there. Nobody thinks like this. Nobody talks like this. It's only been with LeBron.
Yes, it's all about winning, but it's really not. We try to synthesize things like play style, competition, success, achievements, accolades, and the like into a more cohesive and complete picture. Just asking, did they win, when trying to argue for the greatest basketball player of all time is the wrong question.
I disagree.
Because
I really do disagree with that, because in sports, that is what matters. This is not an art. This is not music. You know, this is not painting. This is not just entertainment. You know what I mean? This is sport. It's athletics. This is how it's meant to be. It's meant to simulate a battle. Okay, so that's what sports is. Look at soccer as the best example. Football is also a great example, but basketball is too. All right, so follow me on this one. A sporting event is supposed to simulate a battle. All right. There's only one victor in each battle. Think about the war. Think about war. Okay. What's going on out there? If you lost the war, you do not go home saying, well, we got second best. You know, we should be proud. We got second best. We didn't win, but we tried hard. You know, I think I'm the greatest of all time, even though, you know, the general of the losing army is not going to be able to proudly go, I'm the greatest of all time. We've been in 10 wars, and we lost 6 of those wars. I'm the greatest general of all time. No, sports is meant to be won or lost. There's no in between. You know, all the other teams have lost. When Jordan didn't win championships all those years, it was, oh, well, you lost again, buddy. You know, oh, you lost again, MJ. That's why it was so special when he did win, because it was like, holy crap, you did it now. You know, you've done it. I don't understand why this is so complicated and why people excuse this so much. We never used to think this way.
Because, you know, it's a team sport. The better question to ask is which player gave their team the best chance to win? Who meant the most to their teams? And the answer to that question is LeBron James. Is there any better example of this than the 2016 finals? What other player in that situation would have been able to do what LeBron did? He didn't try to will his team to victory by just jacking up shots. He picked his spots perfectly, got his teammates involved, and inspired a belief that they could win despite the odds. The series is the perfect testimony to the value of LeBron James. They were facing the 73-9 Warriors, the best record in NBA history, single-digit losses in an 82-game season. Cap it off with a title, and they instantly have a claim as the best basketball team ever. And after the first 4 games of the series, they have a 3-1 lead. No team in that position had ever lost. That lead in that series has proven throughout history to be insurmountable.
Well, just like LeBron has blown it 6 times. Yeah. Golden State freaking blew it, you know? I don't think they're gonna disagree with it. I think they would agree with it. Yeah, we freaking blew it. We got all the way there and then we blew it. In fact, I've seen them talk about it. You know, they hate that season. That season hurts thinking back because they blew it. They're not pretending like, oh, we're so great. You know, we almost won. They're not saying we almost won. They're pissed that they didn't win at all.
Game 5 in Oakland. Kyrie shoots 70% from the floor to rack up 41 points. LeBron matches him with 41 of his own, plus 16 rebounds and 7 assists. Tristan Thompson is the only other Cavalier in double digits. Game 6 in Cleveland. LeBron spearheads a blowout with another 41-point performance, with 8 rebounds and 11 assists to go along with it. The momentum of the series has palpably shifted. Game 7 had legacy bursting at its seams. Something historic was going to happen, no matter how the game ended. Either the Warriors were about to cap off the most successful basketball season ever, or the Cavs were going to do the unthinkable. A 3-1 comeback, their first franchise title, Cleveland's first championship in 52 years, all made possible by LeBron James. A Cleveland win in Game 7 represented the single most significant feat that any player has ever achieved. The most anticipated high school basketball player in a lifetime, who became the chosen one 45 minutes away from the team that would draft him, who took that team to brand new heights, who broke that city's heart in an astonishing way, came back to try to make things right, and was now 1 game away from fulfilling his promise.
And then broke their heart again by leaving a whole second time.
An unprecedented comeback against a record-breaking opponent. He isn't Michael Jordan. Don't expect him to be. He's not Magic Johnson either. He's not Larry Bird or Bill Russell or Wilt Chamberlain. He's LeBron James, the most valuable basketball player ever. The most complete basketball player who's ever lived. The greatest basketball player of all time.
Damn, man. Damn. Oh, man. Okay, first of all, Clayton doesn't... Dude, these are... It's a fantastic video, I gotta say. Oh, okay, it's been a long one, so if you've forgotten by now, his job here was to make the case for LeBron being the greatest of all time. I think he did a really good job of that. Do I agree with him? No way, no way. No, I'm not that easily influenced. I have my own opinion on things, and I form those opinions based on actual like experience and research and all kinds of stuff to formulate my own opinion. So watching something like this, no, it's not going to change my mind, but I can definitely respect Clayton for really making a good case. If I've never watched basketball before and I just watched this video, I might walk away going, you know what? I think LeBron James is the GOAT. You know, it might happen. But I know better, and that's why we're going to follow this up tonight with the Making the Case for Michael Jordan video. I'm really excited for that one. But I just wanted to end this by saying I think he did a great job, you know, so don't bash him in the comments, please. His purpose here for every single player is to convince the audience that that player is the greatest of all time. And I believe he did it with Magic, Bird, Russell, Kareem, Jordan, LeBron. I'm not sure if he did it with Kobe. I think he did it with Duncan. Yeah, he did it with Duncan. So it's not like, he just did a one-off video and it was only LeBron James. He's not saying LeBron James is the GOAT. He's saying this would be the case for it. And he did it with a lot of research, and he did it with some hella style. So anyways, you guys, I'm going to dip out here. Comment down below what you thought about this one. And I'll see you tonight for the Michael Jordan one. And I'm looking forward to watching that with you guys. All right, everybody, leave the video a like. Check out Clayton's channel if you like this type of content. Like I said, he covers all the greats. So if you like this video form that he had, please check out his channel, subscribe over there. And if you like this reaction of mine, please leave this video a like. I appreciate you. Let's get it out, because I like these kind of open debates that are fair, and it's not like fueled with hate. So, all right, everyone, thanks for watching. I'll see you tonight for the next one in the After Dark. Peace out.